really on top of their situation. But we all know, even two-parent households, we will let that YouTube raise these kids some days. We will let a video game raise these kids some days. And kids don't know no better. So a lot of time people be talking about born this way, born this way. No, some people are raised that way. They influenced that way. Not everybody is born that way. And a lot of times people don't even understand the influence. So a lot of times people don't even know the influence. They say, oh, as long as I can remember, I've been like that. Yes, because you're a male and your uncle was touching you, or your brother was touching you at 2 years old, at 3 years old, at 4 years old. That's why you have liked men or been into men as long as you could remember. That don't mean you was born that way. You and your male cousin was playing house at your grandma's house. So that's sometimes the case. Now, if you were born that way, I can't argue that. I can't argue that because I can't tell nobody how they were born or what God was in. But what I'm saying is, if you raising children, you have to make sure that your children are educated when this stuff comes into play in their life. And at a young age now, they have, at a young age in elementary, boys dressing as girls. And at a young age. And now they have at a young age, 8 years old, boys saying, I like boys. But when you shouldn't even be in the relationships. And so this is a very real thing. And see, the issue with it is, here's the issue. And this is what gay adults have to understand. The issue is that what you understand as a gay adult, that child can't process. So when that child see this child at school, or my child, if he see a man and a woman, and he know that he come out of his mom, but then he see a man and a man kissing, but then and he want to have kids, but then he get with a man, and then he come into the knowledge at whatever age, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that him and his boyfriend cannot have a child. See, this is what gay adults don't understand about these kids. The kids a lot of times making a choice based on what they seeing adults do, and that choice don't line up with what they want out of their life. And then they have to adapt and adjust. And so then they, do the surrogate or they do the adoption. And what I saw was one of my cousins, she had 2 kids, but her husband was beating on her. She left her husband. She started dating women. And she was the more masculine with the women. And then she raising her 2 daughters. The oldest daughter become a lesbian because she saw her mom with women her whole life. And so was that daughter born that way, or was she raised that way? Was she influenced that way, or was so you saying that the mama was born that way, and then it's a genetic thing, it's a gene in the mama that made her like women, and then it's that same gene, even though the daughter came from a man, her mama was married to a man, they had her, she had a gene in her that made her as a woman like women? Or was it because from the age of 1 or 2, she saw her mom with women? And at her age of understanding, 9, 10, 11, 12, she saw her mom hugging women, kissing women, living with women. So was she born that way, or was she raised that way? And this is a conversation that a lot of people not having. And listen, this conversation I don't like to have because of cancel culture. But as adults, we have to also take responsibility for what we portraying, the images we showing. And I've lost, clients and a lot of people who are in the gay lifestyle, just talking about it, not bashing. I don't hate nobody. I love everybody. I ain't got nothing against nobody. But at the same way, I don't want to kiss in front of my 8-year-old in a heterosexual relationship. I don't want a lesbian or a gay relationship kissing in front of my 8-year-old either. So it ain't about discrimination and all of that on because they gay. It's about what are we introducing to our children before they ready to process it. And that's why in kids' movies, there should not be kissing and relationships and all of that because they're not thinking on that level. They should be thinking about learning how to read and write and play on the playground. But we taking as sick adults, and what you don't realize, and like what I was saying, with the sleepovers, that man, if this man will put on a bra and put on a diaper, boo-boo in the diaper, and the man went on Dr. Phil, him and the woman went on Dr. Phil. It's on Hulu. I think the show is called Killer Confessions or something about, it's in documentaries or when you select the crime area. And the picture, the icon is a young white girl looking back at the camera, and I think it's a young white guy on the other half. And think about this now. If this man and his son was coming, his son wanted to hang out with his homeboys. So they showed his homeboys when they were searching for the son's body, they interviewed 2 of his homies. And so if this man will eat boo-boo, what make you think he won't put a camera in the bathroom while your son sleeping over there and taking a shower? What? And get out the shower, dry off, put his clothes on, and there's a camera right there up under the bathroom mirror, poking out there the wall in the AC vent up here, just out there right there. Look, what make you think that type of man that'll eat boo-boo in a bra and a diaper won't be voyeuring on your son while your son's sleeping over? And this man looked like the youth pastor. This man looked like, when he went on Dr. Phil, now in trial, he looked a little rougher. But the man went on Dr. Phil and they showing this man, it looked like the man next door. Guess what? My sons ain't staying nowhere. Ain't nowhere. They can hang out, like my wife said, they can stay over there till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. They ain't sleeping over there, coming to get them. Because, hey, ain't nothing against you. It's just a rule across the whole board. Because you can't pick and choose. And a lot of people watching this video was at somebody else's house and got touched and can attest to this ain't no fair, this ain't no nothing just made up out the air. And so guess what? This is what's happening. When I remember it was a young guy in the 6th grade told somebody that he liked me. I was like, huh? A boy like me? No, told him later in high school, 10th, 11th grade, that he liked me in 6th grade. But when I looked into that situation, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, you got to look at this stuff. When I looked into this situation, the boy, I remember he had a mama and he had 4 sisters. So his whole conversation was with his sisters. Oh, Tony cute, Billy cute, John cute, Tom cute. So if a boy is the baby and he coming up with 4 sisters and all the sisters is doing his hair, nails, makeup, and talking about the boys they liking, who they sleeping with, you know, who they hunching, we used to call it, who touching them, and he yeah, such and such fingered me. He in all the conversation. So now his outlook on life is, when he hears his 4 sisters say Tony cute or Tony fine or John fine, he now looks at John as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old boy, and he say, oh, that's a man or that's another boy, and that is what they call fine. So that man is fine. So now this 8-year-old boy with 4 sisters, he wasn't born that way. He was raised that way. And see, but sometimes it take another choice, somebody coming in and saying, no, that's that's your sisters, but that ain't what you got to like. You could like girls. You could like girls. It take a dad or somebody. And I remember I had a college teammate. He became an Alpha Phi Alpha. And I said, why you join? He said, because I had 4 sisters or 3 sisters and a mom, single mom. And he said, I want a brotherhood. So he was saying, I want to be around men. I want a brotherhood because all I was raised with was women, my grandma, my mama, and my 3 sisters. He played football, he was good, and he had a girlfriend. So that was a different thing. It was like although his sisters was into guys, that didn't make him become into guys. But what I'm saying is we have to look at these influences, because what's happening is a lot of times people say, oh, that's just their choice, or oh, they just rape, or they're just born like that. No, a lot of times it's because of your absenteeism. A lot of times it's because the dad is gone all the time working and that boy has no male interaction. So he's sitting with mom and he's doing nails. He doing hair. And I see it all the time with very busy fathers who gone all the time. Their son is with their mama all the time. So the son adopts the mannerisms of the mom. My wife is more masculine than feminine. So my son's, even with her, she very tough on them. She not one of them real. Now she pretty and she wear makeup, she do nails and all that, but she never do that with them. She don't have them sitting beside her while she putting on her makeup. She don't have them do her play with her makeup or play with her nail polish or none of that. She don't introduce them to nothing that she does as a woman. And I've noticed that it's a lot of young boys who they with their mom, and their mom has made their son their best friend. And the mom don't even realize that when you talking to this boy about nails and you showing him how to do nails and you letting him paint your nails and you teaching him about heels and you teaching him about your clothes and you done made him your best friend because you lonely and you letting him do your hair, that you are grooming him to be feminine. You grooming him to love the things, the life, the adornment of a woman. So now when he chooses to wear dresses and he chooses to wear makeup, he was not born like that. He was raised like that. And I ain't saying, and I'm explaining this, and to each their own, but I'm just explaining it to you. So you understand that this deeper than being born a certain way. Some of this is programming. Some of this is influence. Some of this, and the thing about it, this is what you got to think. Think about the Marvel movies. When you think about these Marvel movies and you think about this different stuff out here, what is it always trying to do? Somebody trying to save humans and somebody trying to destroy humans. So think about the adversary and what the adversary will try to do. If he could get your son to be with a man, they can't reproduce. And it ain't no guarantee they could afford a surrogate, and ain't no guarantee they can adopt. If he could get your daughter to be with a woman, they can't reproduce. So at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize is that this is not just about lifestyle choices and all of that. A lot of people don't realize the spiritual side of it. A lot of people don't understand the spiritual side of it, and pastor's not even speaking on this because they don't want to be canceled and they don't want them ties to get cut off. And then when we speak about it in a hateful way. But I'm saying, think about it spiritually. If everybody chooses their own sex, the human race ceases to exist. You cannot eventually you're going to run out of children to adopt if everybody is choosing or being groomed and being raised to choose their own. And it's going to be a scientist that have to come up with a way to make a baby. But then still, it's like, where do we get to where are we at when we say, as men, we want to be with men, and as women, we want to be with women, but we want to use each other body parts to have kids, but then we want to raise the kids in man on man, woman on woman households. That don't make sense. That don't compute. So how you going to take God creation and manipulate the creation and use the creation, but then do what you want to do because you've been hurt, because you've been lied to, because you've been abused, because you went through this or went through that? And that's what we coming down to. And this is a tough conversation. And so while there's a group of people who they say, listen, this is how I was born, this is all I know, for every one of those people, there's somebody else who has been influenced that way, who've been groomed that way, who've been raised that way, who've been trained that way, and they choosing that way. And that's what you got to understand, is that your sons and daughters are going to come to a place of choice, to where it ain't about how they born, it's about what their influences are, who their friends are, what they're around, and that's going to determine what they choose. Hey, this is Tony Gaston. This is a tough conversation, and I'm ready to be canceled. I got to be canceled, but you can't cancel me for speaking my truth. You can't cancel me. I ain't got no endorsement deals. I ain't got none of that. So I work for God. So, but anybody, gay podcasters, I ain't got nothing against podcasters, the video content creators, internet bloggers. We can sit down and have a conversation, because I just want to talk about the choice side of it and the things that we doing in this here arena. Hey, this is Tony Gaston. God bless you. We'll talk soon.